Welcome to Charts Today. My name's David Linton, and today's edition for Monday, the 23rd of August, comes to you from London. And looking at the markets, a lot of green on the screen this morning, a lot of bargain hunting after last week's falls. And we see here that the dollar index is actually making that 12-month high. So that's really significant. In fact, haven't been at this level on the dollar since around November last year. So it's not 12 months, but it's getting close to that. So we're seeing that higher low and higher high on the dollar. That's good news for a recovery there. Remembering this is my weekly, my daily, and my 60-minute chart, long-term, medium-term, and short-term view of the market with the corresponding point and figure targets. And short-term, we've got these targets some 2.5% higher on the dollar, so that's looking strong. That means the euro is weaker, just recovering a little bit this morning against the dollar, but still looking like a lower high and a lower low, so that would be bad news for the euro. And we are, of course, bearish on that medium-term chart. Sterling sitting at 136.50, so has sunk lower against that stronger dollar, and against the euro, 116.41 has sunk lower there as well. But for the moment, sterling is still holding around this 117 level long-term. Bitcoin has broken the $50,000 mark, so that's good news for cryptocurrencies, pushing ever higher. Our target is $83,000. That's the target there, so that's looking very strong indeed. Looking at the S&P 500 index, we did actually have a recovery on Friday, but overall in the week we were slightly down. Just looks like the market might be starting to run out of steam a little bit, so it'll be interesting to just see that. We still do have this upside target, some 12% higher, and on the short-term chart we still have upside targets, but we are just faltering at the moment, so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out this week. Same is true of the Nasdaq, quite a lot of volatility there. Last week's candle looking quite like a doji on the weekly, so that's going to be interesting. And looking at the S&P 500 index, the future, we are actually up 0.25% this morning, and the Nasdaq up just over 0.25%. So it does look like we will see a rise there. The VIX is back to 18. We fell away quite sharply on Friday, so we are still bullish on the fear index, if you like, on the short term, but medium term we've pulled right back. The FTSE future is up 0.5% this morning. The DAX cash market in Germany up 0.4%, and the CAC 40 up 0.75%. Japan is up nearly 2%, so had a strong showing overnight, and most equities in Asia are up quite strongly. Shanghai up 1.45%. The Sensex in India up 0.3%, and the Aussie market was up as well. We'll look at the energy mix in a minute. Looking at soft commodities, sugar is up 0.87%, wheat up 1.33%. Still looking very strong on the long-term chart with multiple upside targets. So expect higher wheat prices. We are short-term bearish below the cloud, but it's looking like it will go stronger. Corn up 0.8%. Still bearish in that short term, and falling away there, so it's not quite as clear as wheat. Gold sitting at 1786, getting back towards that 1800 level, so looking stronger there. Silver sitting at 23, also looking stronger. Platinum up 1.3%, and palladium up 1.6%. So we did see a real fall away in palladium this month, but interestingly, we're seeing a bit of recovery. Last week was a very bad week for that precious metal. US 10-year yield sitting at 1.27%, so starting to look a little bit more bullish. First time we're seeing that wandering above the cloud. Not quite there in the short term yet, but teetering along on that level, finding support. Looking at the energy mix now, we've got Brent Crude. That's obviously made that lower low last week, which we've been predicting for a while. That gives us 13% downside into the 50s. 62 is the short-term target. We do this morning have a 1-minute target pointing higher, so we might see a recovery before we fall away. So that's quite key on crude oil. WTI, much the same picture, of course, and US nat gas relatively flat at the moment. Looking at coal, we just need to hold this 99.50 level. That's going to be quite key. We found support on the cloud there, so we're still bullish on coal. We've got a short-term target also pointing higher there. Emissions are much harder to read this morning. Got targets in both directions. A little bit of recovery there, but the fact that we fell through the cloud, we just need to hold that low on emissions. We are very range-bound at the moment. MBP, again, falling through the cloud on that 60-minute chart. The daily chart's still looking very bullish, of course. We will have a new target off this chart. Watch your OTC prices for what's going to happen next on gas. The main thing is we hold last week's lows. That's going to be quite critical. Same true of German power. We need to hold those lows. So we're neutral on German power at the moment. We do have upside targets, but mixed on the medium term and short term charts. So that's going to be quite key. Nordic power looking better than German power, so we're actually still maintaining our bullish stance here. It looks like we're finding cloud support, and the same is true on the quarterly. It looks like we're finding cloud support with upside targets. Last of all, this is freight rates between China and Europe, container rates, and we see here that just that leap, sevenfold increase. And if you look at the 1% point figure chart, we've got targets of this still going much higher. So look at the 1% point and figure charts on that. This coming from Refinitiv Icon, of course. That's it for today. Until tomorrow, happy charting.